it is day 18 of Vlogmas, which means it is December 18th. It is Monday, and I did not do anything for, what is it, Saturday, Sunday? Did I do Friday? I'm not sure. But you just saw the previous days, and I'm gonna show you a little progress, and we're gonna start with this. I have two pairs of socks. No, one pair of socks, two socks, which makes one pair. I have Christmas socks. I'm very, very happy with these. They feel so nice. I haven't washed or blocked them yet. I will do that in the coming days. Maybe I'll just do that right now. But yeah, they just need a bath, and then need drying, and I will be able to wear these. Super excited about this. I haven't really made much progress with my Advent socks, my Homespun House Advent socks. I've been pretty good. Not like I've been slacking this weekend because I am now trying so hard to do one Christmas present. Technically I'm supposed to knit two. One of them is not gonna make it, and that's fine. It's just a pair of socks for my husband, and I can do that. I'll knit his socks between Christmas and New Year's. I'm pretty sure I should be able to make that. But I do have another gift that needs to, like, it has to be gifted on Friday, which only gives me a few days. I started yesterday and did not get as far as I wanted to get. But we'll see what tonight brings. I should have enough time. It's only like a tiny little thing, and if I can't make it, then the person's gonna get them after Christmas. I will definitely have like a couple days. I have a couple days off over Christmas, and I thoroughly intend to just sit and do nothing. I wanna watch some movies, and maybe go outside a little bit, but that's it. I don't want to like stress over anything. I'm not gonna do much. We're just gonna sit and eat and watch. I think that's the plan. Yeah, so I have been pretty good. As I said, I haven't done anything over the weekend, really. Let me get my ends here out of the way. So these are my Advent calendar socks from like the little tins, and you just saw me open, oops, oh sorry, I'm wobbling here. You just saw me open this one. So this is today, oh, so dark. This is today, day 18. So it's like, we're seeing a lot of these like spring kind of colors. So how many do I have here? 15. So I'm missing two stripes, and then there's gonna be a darker red. I'm very happy with these, and it kind of looks really cool. You have these like fall and winter kind of colors with the darker, and then now it just kind of like moves into spring. And I think the last couple days we're heading towards that like darker again, and then with like the really dark burgundy. These are gonna be really, really cool. I'm very excited. And you saw that my tin, or the bowl where I keep all my little tins, is getting very, very empty. So it looks a little sad. I always have to like once we're halfway through Advent, or like in this last week of Advent, I always have to kind of like put everything back together because it starts looking really sad. So I gotta do some like decorating or something around it. Okay, so I have opened, and I tried really hard to get good light opening my Gingersnap calendars, and you saw like a little bit of it there, but the lighting was very, very poor. So let's just go step by step here, and I have tied in color number 3. So this is how far we've gotten. So we got color 1, color 2 is this lighter blue, and then color 3 is like a blue and purple, like a light blue and then that purple. So it's almost like these two colors are switched. We now have like a darker, this darker purple is the background. I don't know how much you can see it. The darker purple is the background, and then the lighter blue is kind of like the little highlights, the little speckles. I love it. It's really, really growing now. We still have the same amount of stitches. It's just under 300 stitches per round. But it's gonna be really hard to show this blanket because as it's gonna grow outward, I am not gonna change these needles until I really, really, really have to. Just so it all kind of like scrunches up here. So what I will do is probably in the future just show you like little snippets, and you can see that it's like already growing quite a bit. And I talked about this last week. I'm gonna tin out of the way here. I didn't quite know how to store my advent calendar. Remember, I just kind of like, I will unwrap these and then I just kind of like put them back, like try to put them back into the tissue paper. And it got really messy because I've just been keeping it in like the lid for the box where the advent calendar came in. So I was online and I saw it was on the Love and Stitches podcast by Knitty. She saw somebody else, and she thinks it was like a comment, saw somebody else organize, or like somebody else referred to somebody else on her podcast, and I am like low-key stealing this organization tip. I'm doing it a little differently, but what they suggested, put all of your advents, like all of your mini skeins or little hanks, onto just one long string. And then that way you'll just have to know which one is number 1. And I've already started working on my blanket. So at this point, it's pretty easy to like figure out which my next color will be, because it is a little bit of a gradient and I know my last color and they will all kind of like tie in. But I grabbed some yarn. This is just some like random acrylics that's like strong enough, and I doubled it up and tied a knot on like the one end. This is my starting point, and okay, let me just not drop everything. How pretty is this? So they're all, I strung them all up, and now you can actually see the gradient, and I love this, absolutely love this, because at first when I had them all in the box, you couldn't really see what was going on, and I was like, oh, maybe I should like flip. I think it was, I was talking about these two colors and then also these ones. I was like, maybe I should flip them around, but the way they actually sit like this is perfect. So it goes from like the blue, purple into more pinks, and then it goes a little gray, and the gray is joined by like a little bit of green and white, and then we go into greens, and now I believe we're going into like more of the blues because there's like blue speckles in here. So this is really cool. I'm really excited about this, and now I get a visual and I'll know what my advent calendar eventually will look like. And because I have them all strung up like this, if I feel like I want to change out any of the colors, I can absolutely do that before, and like easily do that. right, before I kind of like get going on everything. Now let's open 18. We'll have glitter falling everywhere, and I was right. We are going into blue territory. So right now we have white with these little blue speckles. Oh, I love this. It's gorgeous. I am so excited about this, and that's why I've really like I neglected my socks, my Advent socks, like my Homespun House Advent Sunday socks a little bit, because I just got so excited about this blanket. And the colors are just perfect. And I just want to work on this. I don't really want to do anything else. And I think this is what it really should be about, right? You find your project and you just hang on to it, and you love it, and you love every single stitch that you work on it. So that's how I feel right now. Although I do really, really love those socks too, and I just want to wear them. Yeah. So I'm just doing like a little bit here, a little bit there, and just enjoy what I'm working on. The way I strung these up is I find my half end, does that make sense? The loop end of my hank right here. And I just string my yarn through there. Just like so. And now we went from like green, yellow to white and blue. Love this. And you can just hang it up like however you want. I thought this was a really great idea, and thought, you know what, I'm gonna copy that. Thank you for whoever thought about this. And this, I'm sure like tons of people have thought about this and done this like in the past, but whoever came up with this idea, it is so simple, so straightforward, so genius. Thank you. It's just, it's like this was a game changer. Oh, I also, so I showed you guys last week, I also started a new blanket, and let me just grab that for you guys. I'm not gonna lie, I feel a little dumb for having done this the way I did it. I have 3 little squares now, and I wanted to change up the pattern. So the original pattern, all of the miters, like these guys, all face the same way, or like the same direction. So it's basically just like mitered corners that all go the same way. And I was like, I kind of want to change it up. So it either looks like a diamond pattern in the middle and then it just goes out from there. Either that, or like kind of like an X that comes together. So I'm not quite sure what I want to do. Do I want to do the diamond, or do I want to do like the X? But I was like, okay, either way, 2 of these points have to come together. Like I did here, right? So I joined my second square, and guess what? It was pointing the exact same direction. And I know when I do, oh, I'm leaving the screen. I know when I do certain things like that, like I'm a little more visual maybe. Like depending on what it is, I have to like draw things. And I should have just done that with this one, because I feel a little stupid for doing what I did. But it is actually turning out now. So I'm either gonna add a couple squares to the bottom here, so they turn into a diamond, or I'm gonna add like the same idea on the top, and then it turns into like this X or like a cross. as you can see, I started with the two leftovers, or I started with the one leftover that I had from my blanket. That was when I was like, oh, I'll just start with this Coziest Memories blanket now, instead of in the new year, because why not? Initially, I just wanted to do I wanted to use the yarns of like all of the socks that I finished, but then I was like, oh, I love these yarns so much. There's not a lot leftovers once you're done with your little ball. And I thought I will just turn those little leftovers into one of these squares. And then because I finished a pair of socks, I just did my second square in those colors. And instead of using leftovers from that mini and making a whole square with that mini, I only did like a tiny little bit. So I have like the main color of the sock, and then just like a tiny little corner that is like the contrasting color for like heels and toes, or like whatever. If I do stripes or anything, I'll just add another stripe of color here. Just so I don't like use up all the yarn for one single square, because I know I have enough yarn left over of that tiny little 20-gram mini to actually do the same thing again with a different pair of socks, or even use like the exact same yarns and just make a pair of minis for myself. There is enough yarn to make a pair of minis. So I'll probably do that. Or like shorties, not minis, shorty socks. Yeah, and then I finished my second square. So that's where, or my second color of my blanket, which gave me my third square. There you go. Oh my goodness, that's complicated. And then I added it into here. My little charm here just shows me the right side, so it's easiest for me to join. Yeah, and then I'll just keep going from here. This is going to be really cool. It is really like a memory blanket. These have been around for always, like ever since people have had leftovers for like from their projects, be it crochet, like any kind of, you know, people would do memory quilts too, with just like little leftovers, and they will make like turn them into postage stamp quilts, that kind of stuff. So this is what's gonna happen with all of my little ends. I will need to find a bag or something to put this in, either a bag or a basket. Maybe I'll just put it in one of my baskets until that gets too full. Just to park it somewhere, because depending on how fast I knit, this may be on hold for however long, like a month even. Now what about the ends? I decided not to knit them in as I go, because I don't really like the looks of it. I don't really like the way it like the way the ends behave when you knit them in, if that makes sense. And I'm gonna weave them in, but what I'm gonna do is, as soon as my square is surrounded by a new one, or if like the end is just like sitting there and like the ends are surrounded by more square, does that make sense? I feel like I'm like making this more complicated than it is. So as soon as the end is surrounded by more square, by more blanket, I will weave them in, kind of like as I go. But yeah, this is fun. And we cannot forget about my other scrappy blanket up here. I should probably put a dent into that in the new year. But those are both perfect 30 minutes a day projects. I don't think it takes me longer than 30 minutes to make one of these. Once I do my next one, I will time myself and see how long it actually takes. Yeah, this is what I've been working on. I haven't really been doing much this past weekend. I worked Saturday and did a couple errands on Saturday. We went out to our friend's house for dinner on Friday night and stayed out really, really late. So once I got home on Saturday, all I wanted to do was just sit on the couch and like watch something. I think I didn't even like turn on a movie or anything. I think it was really just like background like sitcoms or something. I cannot remember what I watched. I do not know. But we did like an easy dinner. We had like leftovers, so we did easy dinner. And just kind of chilled for the rest of Saturday night. And then on Sunday, I slept in for a little bit, did catch up on some sleep, slept in, and did a few things around the house and laundry and all of that. And then I started my mittens because I was like, oh, I should really get going on those because they need to be done and like washed and blocked and everything by Friday, which means I should probably finish them, like have them finished by Wednesday night. Can I do it? I don't know. I hope so. I really hope so. I know, so they're all like full on, all over colorwork mittens, fingerless mittens. And I've done them in the past where it took me a Sunday to make one single mitten. And I think that would have come to about 6 hours of like just knitting time. So I believe I should really be able to do that. I have tomorrow night off. I have tonight off basically. It is like coffee o'clock ish. It's about 4:30 ish. It's very dark outside already, but once I'm done here, I will make myself a coffee and edit, and then I'll work on those mittens a little more. I unfortunately can't show you guys just yet. You guys will have to wait till Saturday, or maybe even like, actually no, we'll wait till after Christmas and I'll show you pictures of them in my regular podcast, because it is a surprise, and the recipient may be watching this, so I don't want to spoil anything. But they're coming together really well, and they're really cool. Okay, so I'm gonna go and do exactly what I just said I was gonna do, and I'll have a coffee and a cookie, and oh, I should probably clean the kitchen. Yes, I never forget about chores. But yeah, I will see you guys back here tomorrow. Have a good night and happy crafting. Bye.